Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. It was announced today that Liam Williams, the Welsh middleweight and light middleweight and middleweight, he won titles at both weights. He's retired, and he retires with a 25 wins, 20 KOs, 5 defeats, 2 by stoppage and 1 draw. He turned pro in 2011. And to be honest with you, I think he had a very good career overall. Only 31 fights, which isn't that many in, what are we talking, 13 years? A little bit stop-start towards the end of his career, but he retired today after what he described as he had several concussions. He's 32 years old now, so probably he's getting out at the right time. He said he had the effects of the concussions leading into the Chris Eubank fight in 2022. They were advising him, maybe you shouldn't be doing this anymore, the doctors were. And he said, no, I don't want to let down the fans. I'll do it anyway. And I probably needed the money as well. And then, of course, this year in February, he suffered a 1-round blowout to Hamza Shiraz, who is absolutely flying. One of the best prospects, I think, in world boxing, certainly domestically anyway. And he said, he didn't want it to, the CTE, traumatic encephalopathy, I think is the word, CTE. It's a brain condition connected to repeated blows to the head and concussions. And he said, look, I've had this. I don't want it to get worse. I don't want to end up with dementia. I want to, be there for my family. But he did win, British, European and Commonwealth titles, and they don't give those belts away. So I think he can be proud of his career, Liam Williams. He won his first title against Michael Lomax, and that was the Commonwealth belt at super-welterweight, or light middle if you prefer, 154. That was a 1-round blowout, and that was back in 2014. And then he fought Chris Castelaw and stopped him in the second round. To pick up the vacant British title at 154. So in a total of, 2 consecutive fights, a total of 3 rounds, he won 2 belts. So he was flying at that point. That was, 2014, 2015. He then defended the belt against Gary Corcoran. That was a pretty good fight, if memory serves. I think it was 11th round stoppage. And Corcoran at the time was undefeated in 15, so it was a battle of unbeatens. That was a very, very good win for Liam. He also won, I think, a WBO trinket, which gave him a world ranking, and ended up fighting Liam Smith, who at the time was 24-1-1. He fought him for the WBO interim belt, and he was retired after 9 rounds. He had a very bad cut across the eyelid, and I think his corner pulled him out. And there was a bit of Smith was saying, "Oh, you quit," and all this sort of thing. So they had a rematch, and Smith ended up winning again, this time by majority decision, which I think should have been unanimous for Liam Smith, to be honest with you. I thought he did win that fight. He was made to work, but it should have been a unanimous decision. He won it, I think, clearly. Competitive, but a clear win for Liam Smith. Now, Liam Williams, he had a very sort of bullying style, very physical style. And at 154, I think he was very effective. Like I say, he won the Commonwealth and British titles. But when he moved up to middleweight, that extra bit of strength he really seemed to come into his own. And he fought Mark Heffron in 2018 for the British middleweight belt, and won it on a 10th round stoppage. And again, he was very physical. He was with Heffron. He sort of bullied him, and and Heffron went on to win a few domestic titles. To win, I think he won the British and Commonwealth or something like that. Again, I'm doing this off memory, but Heffron wasn't finished, and Heffron was in fact undefeated in 21 when Liam Smith stopped him in 10. And then he went on to beat Joe Mullender. Stopped him in 2 rounds. He picked up another WBC belt, the silver middleweight title, whatever the hell, I don't know what the hell these things are. But he ended up, he did Andrew Robinson in a round as well. Andrew Robinson was decent decent domestic level fighter, but no match for Liam Smith. He also beat Atlantis Fox as well, who came in with a very good record, 26-1-1. And again, it was a stoppage in 5 rounds, but he beat up Fox. He didn't just beat him, he beat him up. He was very physical with him and manhandled him and ragdolled him and just beat the resistance out of him, beat the fight out of him. And he had some decent skills, Liam Williams, but he was a sort of, I guess you'd call him a cross between he was sort of technical caveman, if you know what I mean. He liked to get physical, he liked to get stuck in, he liked to, have a fight, but at the same time, he didn't neglect his skills. And for people like Andrew Robinson, who were decent sort of English level fighters, he was just way too much. And he stopped Andrew Robinson in the first round. Again, that was a defence of the British middleweight title. He then took on Demetrius Andrade, and this was in 2021. He was down in round 2, but went the distance. And in fact, Demetrius Andrade sort of let him back into the fight. And Williams ended up being, he lost most of the rounds, but again, he was making it kind of competitive against Andrade. Andrade was always winning that fight. That was a defence for Andrade of the WBO middleweight title. And then Liam returned to Britain, and there was very much a grudge match, bad blood between him and Chris Eubank Jr. And at this point, and this was the fight that Williams referred to when he said that he'd been having concussions and doctors were asking him to, suggesting that perhaps he should quit. He didn't want to take any more punches to the head. And it kind of showed in that fight because Williams was down 4 times. I think it was the first, second, fourth, and then towards the end, one of the 10th or 11th round towards the end. So he was constantly being bounced off the canvas. And when your punch resistance goes, that's always a bad sign, that maybe you should start to pack things up. So it was a bad defeat, and it was a grudge match. So I'm sure Liam wasn't happy with the result there. And Chris was very scathing about Liam, didn't like him at all. I think they'd had some sort of Twitter exchange, like as is the want of some of these fighters, all a bit playgroundy. But Liam thought, okay, well, I'll have another go. So he had a couple of wins over, a couple of early wins, a second round stoppage at the York Hall in Bethnal Green, and then he had another. I think both those comeback fights were at Bethnal Green because the second one was against, I can't remember his name, a foreign guy. It was an import with a decent-ish record, but Liam smashed him up in 1 round. And that led to his final fight, which was against Hamza Shiraz, and that was earlier this year in February, and he just got blown out of the water in 1 round. Shiraz, as we know, is an enormous middleweight, extremely hard punching. He was defending his Commonwealth middleweight title, and he had a WBC silver belt, I think. So had Liam won that fight, he would have been ranked again by the WBC. But at 32, he's decided to call it a day. And good luck to the man. He had a good career. You win a British title at 2 weights. That's a good achievement. You'd speak to most professional fighters, you say, would you like to end your career having won British titles at 2 weights? And they'll be like, hell yeah. To some fighters, winning an area title, being at that level is great. And, he picked up a Commonwealth belt at 154. He won a couple of international belts. He had a good career, a very good career. And I'm glad he's getting out now. He talked about spending time with his family, and it's good. It's good. I'm glad. I hope he made a few quid as well. He was with Frank Warren and Queensbury for long periods. Then I think he went over to, what was it called? Probellum, I think, signed him, which he regretted because, of course, Probellum collapsed. And then he ended up kind of going back with his tail between his legs to Frank Warren to some degree. And Frank put him in with Hamza Shiraz, and we know how that went. But hopefully he'll have a healthy, happy retirement, and he's made a few quid. So thanks for the memories, Liam Williams, one of Wales's finest of the last 10 years, I think. And good luck to him and his family. All right, what do you think about Liam Williams? 13-year career, still 32, so he's still a young man, still got plenty of his life ahead of him. What do you think about him? What do you remember about Liam's career? What were your favourite fights of his? And what did you think of him overall? I think he was a very good domestic European level fighter, maybe a fringe world contender. But let me know your thoughts. And thank you for your time. Thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new and hit the like button as well. It costs nothing, takes a second, and you're helping the channel out a great deal. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'll get you later, and bye for now.